Tom Parry.
Matt Boyle.
Do you know these things called video games?
Oh, I vaguely remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, something with bleep bloops. There's something with buttons, blowing cartridges. That's all I can really remember about it, to be honest
It's
with you.
like a film, but it's interactive.
Oh, wow, that sounds like a really good idea.
With pictures on the screen, but you can interact with them by pressing buttons and such, yeah?
Really? Awesome. That sounds like a novel idea. Do you think that'll catch on? Do you think people will be interested in that?
Nah, I just think people might just want to just watch a film and have a cup of tea and switch off a bit.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, let's talk about something else then, I guess. It's Tom That Attack. How are you doing? You all right?
I said that because sometimes that's exactly what I feel like doing. You know, I could play a game, but you know what? I'd rather just watch a film and have a cup of tea.
You know what this is a signifier of?
I'm getting old.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't matter because a lot of people who are older than me, John Carpenter plays video games.
I mean, it's because John Carpenter probably like jet skis in his spare time, I imagine, while playing a piano.
Yeah, he's a talented man. Yeah, wouldn't put it past him.
Every time I think of him now, I think of that music video he did recently where he's like playing a piano that's on fire.
Really, I've not seen that. Wow,
I can't even remember what
sounds
it's
very
for.
dangerous. Was it real fire or was it virtual?
No,
fire?
it looked like real fire.
That must have been incredibly hot.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
It was for Halloween, maybe for a new Halloween theme.
Okay.
I can't.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was for. Anyway, yeah, I've seen John Carpenter play a piano on fire.
Wow.
Yeah,
Video
well,
games.
I get you. Video games.
I have been playing. Now I say that.
Okay.
Matt. Though I have been playing some video games, so I can talk about video games. Go on. Sorry.
So can I. I haven't really been playing a lot recently. Actually, as weird serendipity would have it, I'm not going to dwell too much on it because I was at an event yesterday for a launch of a video game, actually. One of my good friends, Jason, has just released a video game called Dr. Corona, which is essentially something he made over Corona times. And is almost Dr. Mario-esque with some neat little power-ups and kind of make it a bit more Tetris Battle Gaiden. It's fun. It's a very fun game. It's available now on Steam. And I was at that event, and while getting absolutely demolished at the game, despite having playtested it a lot.
When you said demolished, I thought it would be alcohol-based.
No, it wasn't. Unfortunately, I'm on antibiotics, so I couldn't have drunk even if I wanted to, which is ironic given the doctor theme. But I got absolutely whooped by my lovely lady wife, who is better at puzzle games than I am at Dr. Corona. And
there it is. Is it called Super Dr. Corona?
It is called Super Dr. Corona, yes.
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, so I was playing that lovely game again, available now on Steam. And I was chatting to people who I know, and generally speaking, they were like, "Oh, what are you playing at the moment?" And I was like, "Oh, not a lot. Actually, maybe nothing at all." Which is not really true. I have been playing 2064 Read-Only Memories. I've been slowly working through that, given that there's a new version of that game out. But I didn't really want to be like, oh, well, I've played a couple of demos of stuff and nothing's really stuck with me. I didn't really want to have that conversation, but here we are. We will have that conversation live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Super Dr. Corona out now on Steam. Sorry, that's the last plug for a friend's video game. I've played a couple of things over the last couple of weeks since we last podcasted. One of them
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
I think it's more like a couple of months, isn't it?
I'm being generous with my interpretation of time. I played a few things. One of them being the Sandland demo, because I was quite excited for this. I haven't read the original manga by Akira Toriyama, but it has always been something I've been quite curious in. And you and I talked about this last week because it was the only thing I'd really played in a while, and we were
Yes,
both
this
like,
was just a conversation, wasn't it, last week? It was not.
"It
We didn't
was."
record it. Mm.
Sometimes we talk into a microphone and we don't record it, and that's nice. Um, when we were talking about it, though, you and I both had exactly the same experience of this
Mm.
demo. Is that it's
Not a
very
good,
confusing.
not a good demo. Not the way you do a demo.
No, so
Yeah.
what it does is it generally just drops you in a literal sandbox because it is a big open desert and just says, okay, well, just have fun and just play with it. And it's like, well, no, because there's clearly objectives and I'm clearly in the middle of a story. What am I supposed to be doing? Because it feels like at this point of the
Yeah.
game, I'm expected to know what I'm doing.
I
It's not in the.
despise any game that makes me think about what I should be doing. No, I mean, like it's so vague. I
I
despise any
despise
game that
any
makes
game
me
that
think
makes me
about what
think.
I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, that doesn't sound very good, did it?
It doesn't. No, it's a very dismissive comment, but no, I get what you mean. It's like there's Dark Souls and there's this. It's Dark Souls has a level of like, oh well, figure it out. You can clearly see that
Well,
the
as a
square
demo,
button is.
you're selling the concept on. You'd like, what is the concept of the game? You might want to know that when you go into the demo. You might want to be introduced to the characters straight away and the story and everything, and not just be a character you know nothing about in a world you know nothing about with an objective you also know nothing about.
Forced to engage with systems that are not explained at all to you.
Yeah,
It's a
not a
very
good way
odd
to do it.
thing.
You should
No,
introduce
and
these things, and that you get a proper feel for the game instead of having to work it out for yourself. I think as a demo, you should at least do that, shouldn't it?
I think it's quite odd though because I have played another Bandai Namco demo that I'll talk about in a second, and having played the One Piece Eternal Odyssey demo a couple of weeks back or months back as that game is released. I think that does a much better job of just
Oh
going,
yeah.
"Hey, this is the tutorial segment of this game, and this is what it's all about." Whereas the Sandland demo just kind of drops you in the middle of it and goes, "Okay, well, figure it out." It it made me go from like, "Oh, I will probably buy this game immediately," to I'm gonna wait for this to come on sale because this seems very complicated and necessarily not what I'm really interested in right
Yeah,
now.
it's not meant to put you off getting the game.
No, and that is the exact effect that it has had, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So much so
same
this
here.
morning that when I was sat down to look and having a browse of the PlayStation Store, going, what should I buy? What should I play? I actually started thinking of games that I wanted to play like last year and kind of forgot about things like the Shin-Chan game that's on the Switch before I thought of Sandland, which is insane considering it's a new game and it's just come out and from all accounts it's pretty good. I just think it's a very bad demo, which is a shame.
Mm. It had very small writing,
Very small writing.
which I don't think you can
Are
get
all
around that, even in the main game. But I like you here. It's good. So just a shame the demo wasn't so good and the text was so small.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, right, as I said, I did play another Bandai Namco game, which is Jujutsu Kaisen, Cursed Clash, because I like me some of that manga. And that game has ample text sizes. A relatively
Huge.
decent demo to give you an idea of what the game is going to be, but unfortunately, it's another one of those Bandai Namco open arena fighters, much like your Naruto and your Dragon Ball Z games. And while I was lured in with the temptation that there's a story mode and you can play through Jujutsu Kaisen, I was like, well, at least there'll be like some interesting cutscenes in between. It feels very, very low budget. All it is like a bit of the voice acting, and I'm not sure if they're the same voice actors as from the anime, but it feels like a visual novel retelling of the story, like one still drawing of a
Well,
character and then text by the side of it.
not so abnormal in fighting games. Just think
No, I
Blaze
know, but
Blue or Guilty Gear. They
yeah,
both of
but
those.
yeah, but this is retelling a story that is both a comic and a
Yeah,
massively popular anime. You'd think
it's
they'd
not
put a bit
Dragon
more.
Ball budget. You know what they put into the
No,
Dragon Ball video games usually.
it is not Dragon Ball budget. It is not Naruto budget. It is not
Yeah.
even the budget of some mobile games I've played recently.
It's
Like,
just budget.
it's budget, but full price. The game will actually set you back like 40, 50 quid. Well, probably not at this point because reviews have panned it. It's and said that it's very low budget. And so I think now you could probably pick it up for about the £30 mark. But yeah, it's an arena fighter. There's not really a lot to say about it. So I'm not going to get too in depth into it because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about since it's been a while. But I was just a bit
Yeah.
disappointed with it, to be honest with you.
Here we are. Here's a comment on that. I think this is a review. It's from Metacritic. Basically, everything a great anime fighting game needs has it all. However, the essentially good ideas lack the necessary polish, which is why the title ultimately cannot realize its full potential.
That feels very accurate. So even in the tutorial bit, I was running around as Yuji, like doing landing punches on Gojo, the Kakashi stand-in of Jujutsu Kaisen. And like while I was hitting him, the model was just still, and so I was just bouncing this model around with absolutely no reaction from it. And I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
this."
If I've learned
Probably.
anything about Bandai Namco games, don't get them on release nowadays because, like Klonoa and like Pac-Man repacked, both of them have come down to next to nothing. You know, and I was,
Yeah,
I should get these unreleased because, I don't know if they'll, become, hard to find or whatever. No. I thought that about Pac-Man, especially because at one point it was a game exclusive.
yeah.
And I thought, wow, I should get that. And I was very excited about Klonoa. I think you can get it now for like less than a tenner.
Hmm.
So, yeah, maybe this Jujutsu Kaisen game, if you are interested, don't pay full price, wait, and you probably will be able to get it for a very affordable price, which is more fitting of the quality of the game, perhaps.
Yeah, but I think it's a shame because
Yeah.
obviously it is a massively, massively popular franchise at the moment, and I think it deserves better. I
I
think it
saw someone yesterday wearing a Jujutsu. Is it called Jujutsu Kaisen? Yes.
it is Jujutsu
Sorry,
Kaisen, yeah.
I'm not. I saw someone in a hoodie of one of the characters yesterday. So that's how popular it is. There's people out there wearing hoodies
Again,
with it on.
you can buy their clothes in Uniqlo, you can get them
Yeah.
in Primark. Like it is a very popular thing,
In
but it
Primark,
in Primark, I've
like
heard
this.
rumors. Yes, like the Street
My,
Fighter
my
t-shirt you are
£4
showing me.
Primark Street Fighter t-shirt.
A £4 Primark Street Fighter t-shirt. What more can a man
What
ask for?
more could a man want? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was a bit disappointed with this, and so I then played a game that I quite enjoyed, but you kind of bounced off of. But as I have been talking about a lot of video games, what have you been playing, Tom, before I get
What have
into
I
that?
been playing? Well, most recently today I was playing Sonic Generations.
Yeah, of
No
course.
surprises that I'm playing a Sonic game, but there's been a little bit of new footage released of the forthcoming Sonic Cross Shadow. I think it's Cross, not X, because when they do the X, it's a crossover, isn't it? So it's meant to be a cross. Anyway,
I just
Sonic.
thought it was a Hunter thing where you don't pronounce it. I thought it was just
Oh
Sonic
no,
Shadow.
I remember when Street Fighter Cross Tekken
Cross
came out, and it was
Tekken.
called
Yeah.
Cross Tekken. And ever since then, every time I see that, well, it's cross, isn't it? Crossover.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I've seen footage of this, and I was thinking, what? Does this look substantially any different than perhaps the game looked originally? But then again, I've been playing it on the Series S, and I think it had a bit of an upgrade.
Okay.
The Xbox 360 game did to run maybe it's 60 frames per second, and anyways, it's still a very nice looking, smooth playing game in its original form. At least if you play it on modern consoles like the Xbox Series, uh, the Xbox Series consoles, at least. So yeah, what will be new then is the shadow content, which will run parallel, I suppose, to the Sonic stuff, as I'm led to believe, but can only really start at Sonic Adventure 2, can't it? Because the
Yeah.
game Sonic Generations begins at the beginning. You play a level from Sonic 1 Green Hill, then you do Chemical Plant, then you do Sky Sanctuary from Sonic and Knuckles, and you know it treats Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles as one game again, as now is the norm. but of course, when we were younger, that they were two different games which could be connected. And then then you go into what's the next one? Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and then Sonic Heroes. So I imagine what we're going to get is, I don't know if we're going to get as much stuff with Shadow then. If he can only sort of start having his own versions of levels, maybe just have multiple versions of levels from games rather than just one per game. Who knows? But
Maybe he will be kicked back into classic Sonic, and you'll just run around instead of like doing loop the loop, shooting things instead. I don't
I've
know.
not seen any footage of him in that like 2D gameplay, which is also the template of Sonic Generations. You play the 2D
Yeah,
classic levels, and then you play the 3D versions of them. So of course, there's Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, which Sonic doesn't have any levels in, as far as I'm aware. I
no.
can't recall him
No.
being.
You would know, Tom, if you were
Well,
saying
and
no, then I'm going to
I have
agree.
played through Sonic. I mean, with Shadow the Hedgehog though, there's multiple paths to go down, so I don't know if I've missed anything when I've played through Shadow the Hedgehog. Anyway, so that's an interesting prospect, but it's hard to get excited about Shadow Cross Sonic Generations because how much new game is there, and especially when you can play Sonic Generations in a really great form already. Anyway, it's still a great game, still great fun. Played a bit of that. Been playing Shenmue
Really?
one.
Sonic and Shenmue? Wow! Who would have thought?
Oh, this is really okay. I'll get onto something that I haven't talked about before. But Shenmue,
No, go on.
I
Go on.
I I picked up playing the re-release on the PS4 because I couldn't believe it myself. I hadn't played through the whole game. I'd got so far and I just stopped for some reason. Not unlike, which isn't unlike me though. But being Shenmue, I thought I would have probably seen it through. Anyway, so I was up to the bit where you start at the harbour basically, and you're doing the
Yeah.
forklift racing, forklift truck moving of boxes, and asking everyone about the Mad Angels till everybody's incredibly pissed off at you for
Yeah.
continually just badgering them about. Do you know about the Mad Angels? You know. So that's where I'm up to. I think I've done the 4th day of forklift racing, and I think there's at least 5 because you do 5 forklift truck races because you can win 5 forklift prizes depending on where you
Hmm.
finish in the race. I've got the number 1. I can't remember if I ever did that on the Dreamcast. Came first in the forklift truck driving. Probably I did, but I got that. So I think I've got one more day probably before Nozomi gets kidnapped. Spoilers. But yeah, I still love that game. I mean, there's a bit. It's always been a bit janky, I suppose, in the way you move around. And I think playing it again recently, it's like, oh yeah, movement in Shenmue is a bit, yeah. But at the time,
Never,
uh, go on.
never is that jank more obvious though than during the forklift races. I hate that section of that game. Like
Oh,
actively
really?
dislike
Oh,
it.
well, you just have to
Yeah.
get used to how they control because at first you'll be hitting the sides as you take corners too tight or hitting other forklifts, perhaps. And then
Hmm.
also, perhaps when you're doing the normal forklift truck driving in the day, moving boxes, you'll probably ram into people and have to get stuck and things. You're right, Matt. Yeah, I think the control in Shenmue, for the most part, it's actually fine. It does feel
Yeah.
it did feel a bit weird at the time that it was that you I think use the D-pad and look around with the stick. When you
Yeah.
also used to playing N64 and other Dreamcast games, of course. And yeah, nowadays just feel a bit dodgy. But yeah, that's the worst bit, really. Um,
It
I
is.
play,
You know what?
yeah,
You know I love to tease you about Shenmue, but like
yeah,
genuinely, I think most of how that game controls is fine. I really dislike the forklift bit. I
yeah.
think I don't like racing games anyways, as you
Oh
well
God,
know. And I think it's a bad racing game. Like, and so for me, it's
it's
just
only a mini game though when you think about it.
no, because you have to reach certain levels within it to continue, don't you? From what I
No,
remember.
no, the racing's just an extra bit. But when driving the forklift, yes, yeah, you I think there's a quota, but you only get a raise if you. I've never missed the quota. I've always got more than the quota, so I don't know what happens if you like don't get the quota every day. I can't remember. Sometimes there is a way to fail in Shenmue if you go past a certain date in the game.
Yeah.
if you drag it out so long and don't do what you need to do, I think you can fail the game. But that's not a problem for me at the minute anyway. I do feel that particular section of the game, the end bit of the game, does drag on a bit, because you got 5 days at least of forklift truck stuff, and if you're not a fan of it, I don't mind it,
which I
but
wasn't.
yeah, there is a degree of can't think of the word.
Is there
Satisfaction.
though?
There's a
When you
degree
can't
of
even say the
satisfaction
word.
actually. But the problem with it is, I wish you get more bonus, because all you can really do with the extra money you get is buy capsule toys or cassette tapes. And
Yeah.
yeah, after a
To be
while, the
fair,
whole capsule collection does get a little bit frustrating because
it
you get so
it
many
never
duplicates. But it's
it never drew me in because I was like, well, I don't care about these virtual knickknacks. It's fun the first couple of times you put money in the capsule machine. You're
yeah.
like, oh, look at that. It's
Well,
Sonic. Oh, isn't that fun? But after a while, I was just like, okay, I'm moving on
I
with my
know
life.
this one. Rio
Hmm.
says, "This one again." Hmm. Anyway, I still enjoy it. You can play like a Shenmue day every day. That's what I've not been playing it like sit there solidly playing Shenmue. I've been like, one day I'll do a day in game, and then next day I'll do another game. Just play it very casually, and yes, I still enjoy it.
I'm glad. I'm glad that Shenmue is serving the same comfort needs for you as Sonic games are, where you can just dip into a little bit of Shenmue and just be like, "Cool, I'm done with it," and then
Like
float away.
like with Sonic. Okay, one last thing before we continue on with what you were about to say about a certain other game. Mr. Driller Drillland is neat. Yeah. So
Is
this
this
was.
the new Mr. Driller?
I don't think it's that new. It was on Xbox One store. That's where I got it, and it was very cheap, if I recall. And I've dabbled with Mr. Driller in the past and quite enjoyed it, but never loved Mr. Driller as a game. But this has lots of different variations on the formula, so it's like you go a theme park, and there's different worlds within the theme park based on different. Well, one is themed around what's that dungeon crawler Namco game? It's
Tower of
Legend
Jiraga?
Tower of Dragon. What one's based around that, where you have items that you pick up as you dig down, and also paths which you can go off, and you have to go down a certain path to get a key to go and finish the level. And the neat mechanics are unique to each different, let's call it, area within the theme park, and you play as a different Mr. Driller character. And the presentation, beautiful menus and everything, and addictive, varied gameplay. So it's not your traditional Mr. Driller, but in a way that's quite good because you get so many unique twists on the formula. It's really quite fun.
Yeah, I'm saying again to harken back to Corona times. It's just made a fool of us all in terms of like when stuff's come out in my memory.
Yeah,
It's actually a 4-year-old re-release of a GameCube game that was a
I
Japan
thought it might
exclusive.
be. Yes, I thought it might have been based on an older game in the series.
Yeah, I would like to pick this up if it's still cheap. I will have a look, and
This
I
was a
might grab.
while ago.
I'll have a look. I mean, this is the thing in this day and age, right? It feels like stuff is perpetually on sale
Mm.
now on the PlayStation 5. Every time I look into like the sales section, there's like at least 3 different sales running at one time.
Mr.
So,
Driller Drillland. What's it
well, at
on? You
least
can get it on Switch, and we get everything.
yeah, it's on everything: PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and
Mm.
X. So,
I'm
get your
realizing,
drill in wherever you can.
yeah, the Mr. Driller series is an interesting one because there's quite a few installments of the game, and yeah, I always like the way it looks. I like the design, the visuals of Mr. Driller. I find them very appealing.
I love the aesthetic. I mean,
Mm.
it's the evolution of Dig Dug, which is also a game
Yes,
I like. So
absolutely.
there are at least 2 Game Boy Advance Mr. Driller games. Both of them are alright from what I remember.
Yeah, I also picked up Mr. Driller G recently, which is a Japanese exclusive Mr. Driller game that has some sort of more single player elements to it, which, without a knowledge of Japanese, will be a little bit difficult to appreciate. But the presentation again is really nice, and it's of that era of Type 4 and Ace Combat 3, where you've got, I think, the same people working on the front ends of these games, and
Yeah,
it's a very attractive looking presentation. So
I
I
do
got that
love
quite
the
cheap.
aesthetic. I'm sure.
Lovely. Yeah, yeah. So Mr. Driller, if you've not thought about Mr. Driller for a while, well, maybe it's time to jump back in and
To get
and,
your
and
drill
go
on
down that rabbit hole. Go down that hole.
that hole of Duraga.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, if you want to go down the hole
That's
of
what it's called,
Duraga,
Hole of Juraga. Yeah, I think that's the name of the actual level in
yeah.
Mr. Drillland. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay,
Really fun.
okay. I would like some Mr. Driller in my life. I think that's what I'm missing. I think I'm missing simple, fun games. And again, not being able to find my bloody play date is
Yeah.
driving me up the wall because I
Is
would love
Mr.
to give it a go.
Can you get Mr. Driller for your phone?
I'm sure you can. There must be a Mr. Driller for the phone.
Hmm.
There
iOS,
must.
South Korea, Mr. Driller for Kakao. Right. I think,
Okay,
with a
then
bit of digging, you
maybe
might
not.
find something that's playable on a phone. I was just curious.
I'm sure there's some version of Mr. Driller. Anyways, um, I've played a game, Tom, that people have told me was game of the year material and everything else. And as a game that has been out of my grasp for a very, very long time. So much so that when it was finally announced for the Nintendo Switch and PS5, I was like, I'm buying that immediately. And before the game could even come out, Microsoft shuttered the studio. So there will never be any more of this game.
Hmm.
Because unfortunately Tango Gameworks is no more. But I finally managed to play Hi-Fi Rush, and I'll tell you what, Tom, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
another colourful game, which is nice, isn't it, nowadays? When you looked at that state of play, or even a lot of the Summer Game Fest announcements, and quite a lot of stuff is very realistic looking, a little bit drab, you know.
yes.
So games stick out that are colourful, like Astrobot, which I'm no doubt we'll talk about in a bit. But Hi-Fi Rush, another great example of a colourful world, very game-looking game.
It is a game-looking game
Game.
that has a very good
Talking about.
sense of humor,
Yeah.
music that definitely resonates with my musical preferences, and also just I don't know. There's something about it that playing it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a game in 10 years' time that a certain demographic of player will have played, and it will have a massive impact on them, like a Jet Set Radio.
Hmm.
And it will be talked about in conversations. But I imagine because of the shuttering of Tango Gameworks, will be an absolute pain in the ass to play unless they keep putting it on systems. I don't know. I
Well, I
just get the
think it's not
feeling.
going to disappear, is it? You're going to be able to buy it digitally even
I
on
hope so.
PS5. Yeah,
I hope
PS5 and
so.
Xbox.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely on these systems now, but I mean, I don't know. It just feels like one of those games that's kind of got to fall through the cracks of
Oh, you're
obscurity. I don't
thinking
think
down the line, the fact that it's digital, it's not got a physical release, and when they do shut down the
these
stores for these
services
consoles, well,
exactly.
that we're a long way off that yet. But yes,
We
it is.
are,
I can
yeah.
see that being a concern if it's a particularly noteworthy game. Like I keep hearing this is. I have played it myself, but didn't quite get into it. Uh,
So how much did you play of it? Because I got
no,
up to the first boss and beat the first boss.
how long would that be in terms of
A-
time? Would
About
you?
an hour or so. You would remember if you fought
Mm,
the first boss because it's a Nine Inch Nails song and you're in a big arena thing.
is it really?
Yes.
No, I haven't fought the first boss.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe 45 minutes, half an hour. I've played Hi-Fi Rush, um, and I could see what it was going for. I think I found the rhythm-based gameplay at odds with the action nature of the game. I think I just
Yes.
wanted it to be an action game, and I felt like because it tries to mix the two, I didn't quite get into it as much as maybe you did, perhaps.
I know what you're saying. And because I've definitely felt that way, right? Like, there's been
Mm.
times where, as we've bemoaned on this podcast for a while now, like square light attack, triangle heavy attack is something that we've done a lot. I have Yakuza muscle memory of my combos and how quickly I want to press those buttons to do things and everything else. But I know what you're saying, because I definitely felt the same way where I kept screwing up the timing of what I was doing. But I kind of, after the third fight of going, I'm not really getting this, I was like, right, okay, I will purposely try to play the game on its own terms and go like, right, square, 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 square. It becomes really fun.
Mm.
Once I met the game on its own terms, I was like, oh, there's something to this. And the way you can see that the enemies are also attacking on the beat, the way that you dodge on the beat and everything else. If you're really in that, like, I'm just going to keep basic, like, 4-4 time with these attacks and, like, allow myself to look around in between the beats because I know I'm just keeping the beat with my thumb,
Mm.
it actually lets you do some stuff that I don't usually find myself doing in these games. It lets you kind of like read the arena a lot better and do dodges and stuff. And like, I'm still getting Bs. I'm still not doing the insane things, but it,
Yeah.
it's got given me a glimpse of that kind of action game like this, where like people are getting S ranks in the later levels of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and stuff. And it's giving me a glimpse of like, oh, well, actually, if I play this game a little bit differently, if I meet it on its own terms, I could be really good at this game and I could really enjoy it. That said, if it does get harder, I think the easy rank of this game, the easy difficulty, lets you knock it down to that. And I think you can just ignore the rhythm stuff entirely. So
Oh.
I'm on the fence of like, do I engage with this? I started on normal. Usually, as long term listeners know, I'll start on easy because I'm just like, okay, I just want to experience this game. I don't really care about like learning the in depths of the mechanics. But with this game, I started on normal because generally when I play a rhythm game, I often find if you go for the easier difficulty on things like Guitar Hero, it's not really on the rhythm. It feels like a simplified version of the rhythm, and like it tends to throw me off because I'm listening to the
Yeah.
actual track and trying to keep time with the actual song. But here, I didn't feel that. Normal definitely felt like it had it right. And I'm very curious to see as I play more of this game, will I just abandon the rhythm mechanics entirely, or will I get used to it
Do
and
you
lean
think
into
it
it?
is
And
possible to do that?
I think so. I imagine because the easy mode's just like, oh, for people who struggle with rhythm and everything else, which is generally me in these games. Like,
Hmm. I
I'm
mean, I
not that
like a
great
good
at
rhythm
rhythm
game.
games.
I just thought the style of gameplay is a bit at odds with my traditional view of what a rhythm game is. I think because I like Parappa and Vib Ribbon and
Yeah, of
what's
course.
the one on Nintendo? Rhythm Heaven.
What, like Elite Beat Agents and yeah, Rhythm Heaven and all this kind of stuff
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
you're thinking of. Like,
I've
yeah.
enjoyed all those games in the past, but for some reason this one didn't gel with me, and perhaps I didn't give it enough time. Perhaps I should have stuck with it a bit more. And
I think,
I think when you're playing stuff on Game Pass, it is easy to say, oh, you know what, I need some space on my hard drive. I'll just delete that and play something else because I'm not
yeah.
immediately gelled with it. And I think that maybe what happened with me and Hi-Fi Rush, I didn't give it enough of a chance and wanted that precious hard drive space to try something else. So
I get it. And like I
my
said,
loss, perhaps.
well, like I said, you need. I had this exact same reaction as you when I first started playing it. I was like, oh my God, I just want to press square and like mash through these enemies. I want to get through this area quickly. You need to meet the game on its own terms. You need
Yeah,
to go like, right,
I think
I
I realised that playing it though. I think I did sort of realise that you'd have to play a certain way. I think
mhm,
maybe that just felt too restrictive with me. For me, it's a long time ago that I played that now, so it's not really
yeah.
fresh in my mind because I think I played it as soon as it appeared on Game Pass, which was quite a while ago now. I think.
Yeah, I remember you
Yeah.
being quite down on it at the time.
Was
Like, I'm sure
I
people
dismiss
can go
it?
check the tape. No, I don't think you would dismiss it. I think you, as we've already said, I think you liked the music. I think you liked the vibe the comedy, the brightness, and all of this other
The
stuff. I just
Saturday morning TV show vibe of it, the cartoon vibe of it. Yeah, it's quite
exactly.
appealing. Yeah.
It's just got. It's like I said. It looks beautiful. I like the humor. It's got bits of like Mega Man and all these other kind of games thrown into it as well that you're collecting like life containers and all this other stuff. It feels like it's leaning into that aesthetic because
Hmm.
you are this Try character and he's got a robotic arm and he's
Yeah.
been accidentally rebuilt with his heart being an MP3 player. Like it's
It's
got
fun.
some
It's
of
all
the
fun stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's goofy. It feels like an 80s Saturday morning cartoon, as you say. I think it leans into the aesthetics of some of those games. It's very much in conversation with stuff like Bayonetta, with stuff like Devil May Cry, with the rankings and bonus points and all this kind of stuff.
But it doesn't play like those games,
It
really.
doesn't play like those
No.
games at all, and I'm kind of glad
Hmm.
because while I would have enjoyed it if it was just a light attack, heavy attack, I think I would be more inclined because my initial thoughts were like, "Oh, this kind of feels like Ratchet and Clank, but like a cell
Yeah. Is
shaded
it because
Ratchet
you've
and
got a
Clank."
wrench? Is that why?
Yeah, maybe. But you're also
Yeah.
collecting bolts and
Yeah.
stuff. Maybe that's
You-
why.
Do you
But
have a wrench, or am I just like remembering that
you
wrong?
have a wrench that turns into a guitar.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There is something of Ratchet and Clank about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but and generally speaking, like I think it's like 50% off at the moment on the PlayStation sale. So it's like I think I paid like
Yeah, that
15
was
quid
a
for
bit
it.
of a surprise, wasn't it? That it ended up on PlayStation because you thought that perhaps that game was going to remain an Xbox exclusive, but then seeing what Microsoft decided to do with the studio, yeah, they probably wanted to make as much off that game as possible, so they made it available on PlayStation 2,
Well,
PlayStation
I think
5, I mean.
I think a PlayStation. I mean, it would be great
Mm,
on the PlayStation 2.
mm.
Um, I think this is just where we are with video games at the moment, and I think we'll talk about this in a bit. But I mean, it's been a year of mass layoffs within tech, especially within video games. You got people like Square Enix coming out there going, well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being a PlayStation 5 exclusive, even though it sold really well and was number one, it's like, well, it didn't meet expectations. So in the future, we're going to be multi platform. Success and the cost of making these games now is, I think, so astronomically high that as time goes on, exclusives are making less and less sense, which is good for gamers, but potentially bad for studios as well. Because I think as the cost of living increases and as the cost of developing these games goes up, I think it becomes harder and harder to justify having multiple
Mm.
studios for some of these bigger games publishers, and that
It's interesting,
sucks.
isn't it? When you make a game available on everything, the games that sort of define a console no longer. Do you know what I mean? I kind of like.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's great that more people get to play the game. As many as possible. But it used to be like they had an identity. I think consoles nowadays, and when you sort of remove the exclusivity prospect from a console, it does lose some of its identity. But I suppose there's still some games which are synonymous with their consoles. Halo is still an Xbox game. So is Gears
yeah.
of War, even though these things are available on PC. That so it's still there to a bit, but perhaps in future that will disappear entirely. Not necessarily a bad
I
thing, but sort of for the identity of a console,
well,
it's an
I
intriguing
still think it's
prospect.
there with I still think it's there because I mean Nintendo games are still Nintendo games.
Well, because they're not
I
available on
mean,
anything else.
Helldivers is a game that I associate with PS5, even though I know it blew up on Steam.
Mm.
Like Gran Turismo, Last of Us, like
Yeah,
these are all still
it's still
things I
there, I
associate with
suppose.
PlayStation.
It's still there. I mean, less so maybe in Microsoft's case nowadays, when Halo and Gears aren't really at the forefront of what Microsoft do nowadays. I don't feel not like they used to be.
No, and I
And
mean we're recording this on the day that there's going to be an Xbox showcase thing as part of Summer's Game
Fable,
Fest. So Fable,
it's
there may be
about
other
time.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Um. Yeah. Forza. I suppose that's another Xbox thing.
It is. Wouldn't it be weird if they're just like, yeah, Fable coming to PlayStation 5 at this thing? I doubt it would happen, but still.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's never really affected me that much because I've not sort of exclusively had the one thing for a while now. It used to be that I just had in the 360 PS3 generation. I just had a Wii for the longest time, and I have experienced that. Um, and that just lately, if I was just a Switch gamer, I would have got the chance to play Biomutant. So yeah, it's good that you don't miss out anymore
No,
necessarily.
I mean, I don't have an Xbox, so this is
No, you
why
don't. That's
I've never
true.
been able to
Yes,
play
yeah.
these
You do have
things.
an Xbox One though.
I do have an Xbox One somewhere, yeah, but I think I've turned it on all like 3 times. I played Inside, and there was something else that came out that was Xbox exclusive, and that was it. That was all I used that console for.
So that really goes to show that the exclusives that Microsoft have offered haven't really. Even if you used to play Halo, didn't you? And all
Yeah, I
those,
loved
yeah.
Halo. I played that defined my 360
But
generation. I
now
played
you've
a
moved on from
lot of it.
Halo, and you don't have an urge to play any more Halo, I suppose.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's fun to go back to every now and again. Like some of our good friends are interested in Halo still, and we have like a LAN night every now and again. But I don't know. I think I've just moved on from playing first person shooters
I've
also. So
been playing a bit of Halo multiplayer because Halo multiplayer is something that doesn't require any sort of subscription. Same with
okay,
Fortnite on Xbox. Now, I think, as far as I'm aware, well, that's two examples. I don't know how many more examples of there are of games which don't force you to have what isn't gold anymore. It's more like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Core, is it, or something?
yeah, it's core. I think right.
Yeah, so that's weird. I'm still not quite used to that because obviously playing Xbox for a number of years, gold was was gold and not gold
Yeah.
and regular Xbox Live, wasn't it? So,
Uh huh.
but you could always play, couldn't you? Even if you didn't have, could you play online without gold?
You could
No.
not play online without gold. Trust me, because we used to when I used to play Gears of War for like magazines in the
Ah, of course you
UK.
couldn't. That was the opposite. It was PlayStation where you didn't have to have a subscription to play online, wasn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it would have to be us all looking round in the clan, going, "Does anyone have a 24-hour code so and so can play this match for us tonight?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
different times.
Different times indeed. Um, yeah. So, Hi-Fi Rush,
Hi-Fi Rush.
you
Yeah, I
liked
will
it?
continue to play it. I like it. Let me see as the difficulty increases. Will I just knock the rhythm stuff on the head, or will I really get into it? But generally speaking, very positive first impression. So if
Hmm.
you are a PlayStation owner and like me, you haven't had a chance to play it, despite the disillusion of Tango Gameworks, go give it a go. I think it's a very solid game, and you'll see why everyone was giving it Game of the Year and stuff last year. I think it's great.
Yeah, fantastic. I've just recalled talking about a bright and colourful game like Hi-Fi Rush, a colourful game that I've been playing recently, Penny's Big Breakaway. Now, I've not had a chance to talk about this on the podcast. I've just recalled.
I don't even know what this is. I'm
This
have
is
to
a
Google.
game from the studio that created Sonic Mania. It's a 3D platform game with a unique yo-yo traversal mechanic. It's very polished in a way that it reminds you of a Nintendo game actually, um, with a very beautiful aesthetic. The colors really really appealing. The color combinations used in the stages and such, and the mechanics of the game. See, the yo-yo you use to sort of you can use it to roll on, to slide in a sort of Sonic the Hedgehog type way, slide down banks and stuff. You can use it to sort of propel yourself forward, to swing through the air. Um, it's a very fun, enjoyable game. Um, that I think if you were a fan of platformers, for sure, you should definitely experience Penny's Big Breakaway. It does a lot of unique stuff as well.
It looks very fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
might pick
it's
this up.
really good. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough. I bought it on release, but I think it's been discounted recently.
I'm going to give this a look. This looks kind of fun.
It is. You'll be impressed. You'll appreciate again, like we're talking about, the Namco aesthetic with the menus and stuff. This has its own unique, colourful aesthetic, which is very
Well,
appealing.
It's like even the way that Penny herself is designed, it harkens back to low poly
Yeah.
characters and stuff. It's very cool.
I think there is a sort of I've heard this like night sort of Sega Saturn era type aesthetic to some of it, perhaps. I've heard that being said about this game, and I get that. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is about it, but it's of a certain time. The aesthetic, perhaps it is of that those are Saturn Sega years.
Yeah, but it's got other stuff going
Mm,
on as
mm.
well.
Like
Like,
Mario, I mean, it is quite reminiscent of Super Mario as well, in a lot of ways.
I mean, it even reminds me of the game. Dare I compare something that actually looks very nice to Rascal in weird
Oh,
bits, and the way
really?
that
Oh,
looks.
okay.
Yeah, the way some of the environments look, and the way they've used like color within areas, or just one or two of these screenshots at least. Actually, looking at most of it, that's a very bad comparison. But I don't know. There's something about that low poly style that also makes me think of like
Mm.
a third party PlayStation 1 early platformers.
Mm. One of the things that's quite unique about it is because of the concept of the story. You're on the run, basically. It's called Penny's Big Breakaway because you've performed your yo-yo act. It's some talent show, if I recall. It's been a while since I've played the beginning of the game, and you're on the run because something's gone wrong during that. I can't remember what it was during that talent show, and now you're being chased by the penguin police. So all these little penguins are around, and sometimes they'll swarm you. And if too many get on you without you batting the penguins away, they capture you in the same sort of way that they do in what's it called, Yoshi's Island.
Yeah,
I don't know how it got me so long to get to the end of that sentence, but they carry Baby Mario off. So the similar thing
yeah, yeah.
happens if you let these penguins get hold of you, which it is. It's a different element to the gameplay. It shakes it up a bit. It's only certain stages in the levels where the penguins are sort of about, but you just got to watch out for them and not let them get hold of you.
Yeah, the more I look at this game, the more I want to play it. It looks
I really
beautiful.
recommend you do. I recommend. I think it's just a really good game. It's really polished. I think the fact that you don't know about it's concerning because it's. I wonder how many other people aren't aware of this game and are missing out on it because it's very good.
Hmm. It's
It
also
was
34%
there
off
was
on
a
Steam at the moment.
focus. What's that?
It's 34% off on Steam at the
Oh,
moment,
cool.
which, considering the game came out in February,
Yeah.
maybe not a great indication.
Uh, Digital Foundry gave it a bit of focus. I think they had a whole video about it. Um, but yeah, you think about the quality of Sonic Mania as a 2D platform game, and then you transpose that to 3D with a great aesthetic and great new mechanics. Show that it's a great game.
Yeah, it's beautiful in motion too. It looks
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Very good. So yeah, I had
Yeah,
to get that one out to mention that one, and I nearly forgot now because I say it's been so long since we've done these, and I've not played it for a little while. So
it's interesting to me, right? Looking at this and going, wow, this looks like a game I'd really be interested in. Considering that Summer's Games Fest has gone on at the moment, which I alluded to, and none of the things I've really seen from that have had the same effect on me.
no, no, no. How do you feel about Astrobot? Because in the state of play, because that against everything else in that presentation really stood out to me.
I mean, for me, the state of play had two highlights. One being the new Monster Hunter game, and the other was definitely Astrobot.
Yeah, they sort of left it till near the end, didn't they, Astrobot?
They did, and I think that kind of talks to what a big deal it
Mm.
is. I
I mean,
mean,
it sounds like it's going to be quite a big game as well, and a lot bigger than obviously the pack-in experience you get with the
yeah,
PS5.
no, exactly. But I mean, how long we've talked multiple times on this podcast as various Astrobot things have come out for the PSVR and also for the PlayStation 5 with the pack-in game.
Mm.
That Astrobot is something they should do something with. It's the
Yeah,
most still the most fun I've had with the PlayStation 5, I think. The way it
Yeah.
harnesses the DualSense, the way it pays homage to previous PlayStation games, just it made me really want to play it.
I'm very excited for it. Can you remember when that's coming out?
I
This
believe
year?
it's this year. Whether or not they gave a firm date, though, September 6th. Yes,
My
so
birthday.
your birthday, Tom. Look at that. Sony giving a gift just for you.
Well, they're not going to give it to me, are they?
No, they're
I'm going to
not.
have to rely on someone else
Unfortunately,
to give it to
you'll
me.
have to pay full price for it, but still.
September 6th, right? There's a good few games coming up then on my radar. There's that. There is the new Dragon Ball and the new Fatal Fury. Dragon Ball
Yes.
Sparking Zero and what are they calling that new Fatal Fury? Mark of the Wolves or Fatal Fury? What are they calling it? Garo?
Oh, the new Fatal Fury is called drumroll.
I'm trying
Oh,
to.
where is it? It's too far up this list of games
Fatal
that I looked.
Fury, City of the Wolves.
Yes. It looks good.
Yeah.
I was kind of a bit sad when I saw this. It's like, oh, new Fatal Fury. Who will I play it with?
Oh, Matt, play online.
Oh, it's not the same, Tom. It's not the same. It's not the same as you and I sat in a living room playing fighting games and
I
going,
tell you what
hmm,
I've got into lately is sitting at this desk here because obviously I'm at a computer. For those who don't know, I'm not at a laptop. I'm at a computer desk at a computer podcasting with Matt, and it's a great place to put your arcade stick,
fighting stick. Yeah.
yeah, and play like you're an arcade cabinet, really. So I've really been enjoying playing. I actually picked up a few games on Steam which are on sale, Street Fighter um, games mostly, because there's a great sale on the minute on Steam on Street Fighter. So actually playing these like that, it's just perfect. You know, it's all right playing them on your lap in front on the sofa,
Yeah.
but to actually sit at the desk like this and have that there on the desk rather than my lap, yeah, it's got that arcade cabinet experience that I've
Oh
just
no,
been.
absolutely. Remember that? Remember when the new Guilty Gear came out and I was playing it with one of my friends
Yeah.
and just getting to experience that up close. Also to play fighting games on a keyboard for the first time, which is also really
Oh,
weird,
I've never
but
done that.
it takes all the skill out of it because you can just map like combos and stuff to buttons and then you just pressing buttons in time, so it's more frame counting than actually playing the
Oh
game.
wow, how odd. I mean,
Sorry to
one
throw
of the
shade
most
on anyone who plays
satisfying
with the keyboard.
things for me is that this particular stick that I've got that I'm using at the minute is a Venom stick. It's one of the higher end USB ones for the PS. I think it's marketed for PS3 and PS4. It works on PS5 as well
Yeah.
and PC. But actually going from like a cheaper stick, the cheaper version is Venom stick, and then this one, wow, the smoothness on that stick, it's just like a game changer. It's so nice to use, and I forgot how much of a pleasure playing on a fighting stick can actually be.
Yeah.
So that's been a
I
great gaming experience for me just lately. Getting back into that, and Street Fighter 3 has been the one that has really grabbed me again just recently. I think Street Fighter 3 is perhaps, dare I say it, better than Street Fighter 2.
I
But
know
Street
people who
Fighter
share that opinion.
2 has more nostalgia and maybe the characters are better. But Street Fighter 3 is. Mm.
I like Street Fighter 3. Street Fighter 3 is a fighting game fan's Street Fighter game. And
Mm.
because of that, some of the combos and some of like the expectation that you're frame counting and doing all this other stuff feels to me very much at the forefront of Street Fighter 3. Like if you play someone who knows Street Fighter 3, you are never going to hold your own as a casual player. Like I know people who are
Yeah.
very,
Well,
very
yeah.
good at
Like the
Street Fighter
parrying
3.
and everything in Street Fighter
Hmm.
3. It's not something I really have ever got to grips with entirely. Um, I just like playing Street Fighter 3 because I just feel it's very nice to play.
I just like a lot of the characters. I think they're all
It's
very
got
weird
some,
and very cool.
I did say the character's not as good as Street Fighter 2. There are great characters in there. The Street Fighter 2 has a lot of history and nostalgia, doesn't it? I suppose. Um, but you know what happened with Street Fighter 3 in gameplay? They've improved on Street Fighter 2. There's no way around it. Does play better than Street Fighter 2, I think. You know, not to put Street Fighter 2 down and how good that is, but Street Fighter 3 is better.
I
Mm.
I wouldn't disagree, honestly. Like even though it is not a game that I really love, it's not a game I have a lot of nostalgia for or anything else. Every time I've played it, I'm like, man, this feels different. I wish I had played this at the time.
Yeah. But as much as I
Yeah,
like
but
Street Fighter 3, my favorite 2D fighter is probably still Capcom vs SNK 2. But there you go. Not saying probably
yeah,
Street Fighter 3 probably plays better than that, but yeah,
I like Capcom versus SNK too. It's
yes.
pretty good.
Oh, it's so good. Also, it's fun to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 again recently. I hadn't played that in ages. It was good to try that out again.
I saw the what is it? Capcom versus the anime studio game for
Oh, the
the
one on the
Wii.
Wii.
Yeah,
Tatsunoko, something like that.
I
I've
I
got
saw
the fighting stick for it here, actually. The
yeah I saw the Tatsunoko versus Capcom thing. Someone was selling it in a retro game shop a couple of weeks back, and I was like, oh, there's no point.
nice. It's a good game.
There's a point. Yeah, no, I know, but not for like 40 quid. You know what I mean?
40
Like
quid. It's funny, this, isn't it? Yeah, because we were buying these at the time, you know, and now they're like these sought after things.
they
Funny.
are, Tom. They are. This
Mm.
is the insane thing to me now. Like I actually did pick up a video game yesterday. I bought Nintendo's Mahjong for the Famicom because it was in a retro game shop where the Super Dr. Corona launch was happening.
Aha.
And I bought it and I was like, 70 krona for a Famicom game is fine. That's roughly what it is on eBay. But I'm like, man, like I don't know. Even that to me now for something that fits on my shelf. Whereas I used to spend like hundreds of quid a year on video games. I'm like, I
Yeah, I
don't
can't
know.
justify spending a lot on a video game nowadays. Um, and evidently, I will do with some of these new releases coming out late in the year. Like, I want to get Astro Bot, and I like to get. Thing is, I'll get that City of Wolves, Fatal Fury, and you know, for
Yeah.
full price. And like a lot of other games, like I mentioned, Klonoa, even JoJo. You know, the JoJo. What's it called again? All Star Battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, re-release. That's like pennies now, and I bought it on near enough on release. You know, near to the release day. And yeah. Anyway, maybe I should wait, but it's hard, isn't it, when you really want to play a game?
Exactly. Maybe you should just pick up Mai and Terry in Street Fighter 6 because they will also be coming to that.
Yes, yes, I look forward to trying that. I haven't bought any of the extra content for Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 7, although I have played both games quite a lot. I
Yeah.
told you I went through the whole story mode on Tekken 7, didn't I? I did.
Yeah, we talked
Not
about
Tekken
it.
7. What an idiot. Tekken 8.
Tekken 8.
What a
I mean,
fool.
as you're correcting yourself, I'm also going to say, I know Mai isn't in Fatal Fury. She's the King of Fighters characters. Please don't harass us about that.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
want Kyo. I think my team I always use in King of Fighters is Kyo, Terry, and Mai. And
Yeah.
Kyo's never been sort of as popular because Terry was in Smash Brothers and Mai was in Dead or Alive. I know why those characters are popular, but I always think Kyo's like the next one down in sort of like, and he doesn't get featured in other things
Well,
normally.
it's because he's usually
Well,
like
there's
he's
Iori as
the
well. I don't know. You know,
yeah. I was going to say Iori is my usual person. Like
he's
I understand
incredibly
why King
cool
isn't in
character.
Smash, but yeah, I like Iori.
Yeah, but I always like Kyo. I think he's cool. But yeah, put him in something.
Yeah, yeah. It's not going to happen though, is it? Because if you're going to put Kyo in something, you're just going to put Ryu in it.
Hmm.
It's the sad truth.
Well, there we go.
Indeed. Is there
Anything
anything
any more for
else?
any more? We've talked about the Summer Games Fest. We touched on it a bit.
We did. There's the thing
Yeah.
is, right? I keep scrolling up and down this list, and other than Metaphor, refund Tazio, the new game from the Persona studio,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not really that fussed on anything. Like there was a VR Batman game. There was some other stuff announced. It's just nothing really grabs me. Everything I look at and every trailer
Hmm.
I see just looks grim and bleak.
Yes,
And as
I'm
you
the same.
say,
Yes, yeah,
too realistic, which is not
yeah.
really what I want.
No, no, I'm the same. I'm with you on that one, Matt. Um, Spyro coming back? No, that's just some sort of
No,
clickbait thing.
no. The weird thing I saw that. I don't know. There's nothing. I'm scrolling down here. Even the things that like
Can you
should
send
be
me
kind
that,
of.
Matt?
Yeah, I can. Even the things that should be odd and quirky, like Killer Bean and stuff like that,
Okay.
were announced. None of them do anything for me. Like that just, I don't know. It's just like we're
No, it's
treading
more
old
like I
ground.
don't really need to play it. I can watch that trailer and sort of enjoy what I'm seeing there and have a little giggle at it, but I don't have a strong desire to play it based on that.
No,
Um, yeah,
I mean I'll play Hyper Light Breaker. I liked Hyper Light Drifter a lot. I will definitely buy a physical copy of Alan Wake 2 because that's kind of what I've been holding out
yeah.
for. I know
Not
Limited
into
Run's putting
Harry
those out.
Potter personally, so I can't get excited about Quidditch Champions.
No,
That cuff
I
bust thing looked good. Looked silly. I thought that was
yeah,
the little aliens breaking out of prison.
yeah, that looked okay.
Yeah, that looks silly. But again, it's sort of like the Bean game. I think it looked cool, but will I bother getting it? It's probably not attracting me that much. Probably
Yeah, I
not.
feel you. I'll play Valorant now that that's finally getting
Yeah,
launched on consoles. I've long been curious about that and never had a PC that can run it. So, but again, it's nothing that I'm like, oh my god, I must buy this day one. There's not that draw other than um Metaphor, like I said. But I was
mine
going
are
to
the
buy that
obvious
anyway.
ones. I've already said, haven't
Yeah,
I? Oh, Sonic as well. I'll even though it doesn't look to be too much more than you get already in the old Sonic generations, I will get the new Sonic, of course. Yeah,
I mean, it would be rude for you not to.
yeah.
Sonic mega fan Thomas
So it'll
Parry
be all
not to
about
own.
Sonic and fighting games and Astrobot for me, really.
I mean, like I said, I'll play Monster Hunter because my friend group will play it. Even I could never convince them to join me on Helldivers, so I've stopped playing online games at the moment. So yeah, I'll pick up Monster Hunter Wilds. I'll pick up Metaphor because it's essentially a Persona game in all but
And
name.
of course, what about Slitherhead? Slitterhead. To call it Slitherhead here, it's called Slitterhead, isn't it? Yeah. Now that could be interesting, couldn't it? Do you
It
recall
could.
this?
I
The
don't.
monsters look
No.
cool. It was, I think it's from Silent Hill creator, perhaps.
Oh, it's the ex Silent Hill game. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Also, there's a Silent. They showed more of Silent Hill 2 remake of the State of Play, right?
The-
Which I will also probably pick up.
Yeah, Slitterhead looks like it could be quite interesting.
I don't know. I'm just not. I
Hmm.
haven't played a good survival horror game in a while,
Seems
and I
very
have to.
action orientated, that one.
Yeah, but I think it'll be like action orientated in the same way the Resident Evil is. And honestly, as much as I like Resident Evil 7, it's become too realistic that it scares me in a way that horror
Uh,
movies don't. So I can't play these really brutal survival horror games
no.
anymore. I want the Clock Tower remake that Way Forward put out. I know I need to pre-order that physically from Limited Run as well, but that's my level. If it's
Hey,
2D and I'm not in first person getting confronted with monsters, I can do it. But otherwise, no, no thanks.
yeah, I haven't played Resident Evil 4 for a while because last time I played it, I found it a bit intense. Terrible, isn't
Yeah,
it? I can play the old one, but I think the new one, just the level of detail and realism, it's sometimes a bit much for me. Terrible
yeah,
to
same.
say that. It's very good. I mean, I've liked what I played of it, but it's like I have to sort of work myself up to play that. I sort of, okay, I'd much rather play Sonic or Shenmue. I'm more sedate.
Exactly. I mean, there's no chance of horror in a forklift truck race other than
Not
the
really.
controls.
Well, Well, the Mad Angels do usually accost you in the middle of your working day. So, but Rio
That
can
is true.
take them. They're no trouble for him, so they're not too much of a threat.
Exactly. Anyways, that brings us to the end of an episode of Tom Matt Attack, I guess. I should announce at this point that when you're hearing this, a new podcast from myself has been submitted to Apple and stuff, and so should be appearing soon within iTunes and everything else. First episode of it, in fact, has both of us talking about a manga that we've talked about in this very podcast a lot, called One Piece. I'm reviewing the first volume of that.
Oh,
One Piece, yeah.
interesting. What's that all about then? I'll have to
It's
listen and
about
find out.
it's about finding peace within oneself, I think.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
that's
it.
what it's all about.
Yeah.
Something
Mm-hmm.
about stretchy fruits. So I've launched this thing that I alluded to, I think, on episode 300 of this podcast, and we were saying that we'll talk more about film and we'll talk about everything else. But I wanted to break out the manga talk because it didn't really feel like it fitted in here the same way like anime and film discussion generally does. And so I started a new podcast called Manga Attack. At the moment, the idea is to do it weekly. Let's see how much that continues because it's proving to be a lot of work. But generally, the premise of it is I talk with a guest about a first volume of manga, and we talk about like a synopsis a bit, and we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then if we would continue reading. It's still a bit of work in progress, but got some interesting people like one Thomas Parry on there to talk about something we really enjoy. And yeah, it's out. Go give it a listen, like, subscribe, etc. I mean, if you really want to, download all the episodes, like and subscribe, because it'll help me list it in the iTunes charts. But yeah, it's out there. Let's see how it does.
Exciting. It was really fun chatting about One Piece, and I think it's a great format for a podcast. So nice.
I think I've recorded 6 of them now at the time of recording this. I think I'm finding the groove of how to do it. So let's see. I've got some interesting guests and stuff lined up for the first couple, so I'll reveal those as they come out on Instagram and Twitter and everything else. I signed up under Manga Attack Pod, so follow that. And like I said, keep checking your iTunes in the coming days because it'll probably be there and you can listen to it and see if you like it or not. That said, this is a different podcast. It's called Tom Matt Attack. And if you've liked this, you can find us in a variety of places, such as on blastprocess.com. We're on tommandmattattack.com/podcast. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom Matt Attack. We're on Twitter at TMA Cast, at Gameball for me, at Tom Parry 11 for him. And we are also on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all of these places where you can listen to this podcast. And you should also, if you haven't, give us a cheeky rate and subscribe for this podcast also, because it lets us know you're listening.
Yeah, all good, Matt. Couldn't have said it better myself.
There is nothing to say, even though I flip-flop the order a little bit because it's been a while since I've done it. Tom, as always, mate, thank you for podcasting with me today and talking
pleasure.
about some video games. And
yes.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks' time, I guess, is the format now. So we'll speak to you in a couple of weeks, everybody. Until then, though, be sure, as always, to game on.
Game on. And